You're listening to Off-Road Garage Podcast, and here are Jason and Jim.
And we're live.
That's it, buddy.
Come on,
Back
brother.
again.
You all right?
You know, dude, living the life, man.
Yeah. One day at a time, man.
One day at a time. We're
special
back.
guest today.
I know.
Very excited to have Kerry Davis, a.k.a. Pocket Dark, of Pocket Doc, of Dark Angel Medical, here to talk about some medical stuff.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for a little while.
Yeah.
So
You there, Kerry?
Yeah, man. How y'all doing?
awesome. Glad
So
to have
far,
you
so
on.
good, yeah. I'm actually looking forward to this. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah, we've been kind
Good, man. Yeah, me too.
we've been teasing
Thanks
this
for
one
having
for
me
a
on.
while. So yeah, it's been great to have you.
So here's what kind of triggered this whole reaching out to you in the first place.
People get hurt.
People get hurt. I mean, I know you're a bullet and Band-Aids kind of guy based on some of your history, but trauma is trauma, and we deal with a lot of stuff
for sure.
in the garage with penetrating injuries or like serious lacerations, burns in the garage, as well as on the trail. And I figured you would be the guy to talk to as far as your background and what your company does currently to help keep our listeners informed.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Be happy to talk with y'all because, like you said, it happens anywhere, everywhere, anytime, all the time, every day. And as much as we like to be on the shooting range and magically turning powder into smoke, then we're not able to do that all the time.
Right.
And unfortunately, like I said, everyday life rears its head. And if you're not ready for it, man, Murphy's going to stick it in you and break it off.
Yeah, Murphy's a bad man when he's around.
Yeah, they get you.
Yeah, for sure. Murphy's a jerk.
That should
But
be a T-shirt. That
Yeah.
should be a T-shirt right there.
We'll work on that.
Murphy's a jerk with a tourniquet on it. Like,
Ooh.
Yeah. That's pretty good. I like that. See, we just had a marketing idea, right?
Yeah.
boom.
And then we just throw it out there for the whole world to steal.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Oh.
So, real quick, for the folks who might not know who you are, what's Kerry all about? What's your background? What do you guys do?
Well, I'm just a lowly man nurse, man. I have been taking care of people in the medical field for well over half my lifetime. I've been doing this since I was 20 years old, taking care of people. I started out as a medic in the Air Force, became a flight medic, got to work in the Air Force, worked up with the Army at Fort Bragg for a few years, deployed quite a bit, and then went and taught officer training school in Alabama and at Montgomery and Maxwell Air Force Base was a medical readiness instructor down there. And then I was working as a street paramedic down there then. So I was working on the bus down there on the ambulance. And during that time, I was like, I think I'm going to go back to nursing school. So left active duty and went into reserves, finished up my nursing degree, and started doing critical care and ER back in 2003. And I left the bedside a few years ago just to devote full-time to this. And, progression was I started working with Magpul because I'd moved from Alabama to Colorado and originally from Mississippi. That's why I have a funky accent.
That explains the
And
twang.
then, that explains the twang. And then went from Magpul, started my own company, started Dark Angel Medical, where we sell trauma kits. We make trauma kits, design trauma kits, teach people how to use trauma kits. And then I've been working also concurrently at Sig Sauer Academy as a firearms instructor, medical instructor, armor, all that kind of stuff. So it's been quite the adventure, man. And we just recently celebrated our 123rd save.
Nice.
So that's some pretty awesome stuff. Been doing this the last 9 years, so pretty stoked to know that we're out there trying to give people another birthday.
Yeah. No, that is awesome.
I
I think it's
that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, I think it's kind of perfect that we had you on because I think recently I've seen the social media has kind of been blowing up with. There's been a few wrecks down there in Colorado at the Black Bear Pass.
Yeah, people
I've seen
are
quite a
rolling
few rolling Jeeps taking the fast route to the bottom.
Yeah. My son-in-law has just started doing some off-roading stuff, and he was talking about it, how he carries his kit with him and everything like that. And there's some pretty gnarly trails out here, man. And if you do overland stuff or off-road stuff, you can find yourself in some really cool trails. But if you don't know what you're doing or something bad happens, again, Murphy, then you can find yourself deep in a hurt locker.
Right.
And if you don't have the proper tools or the proper training, then the suck factor will be very, very high.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're a walking quotable. Like I could just follow him around and make shirts, dude.
Y'all should come to one of my classes, man. I have all these old Southern colloquialisms that's hard to say, that my dad used to say, always saying, like, that dude shaking like a dog crap in a peach pit, and stuff like that. And I'm like, wait, what? I used to listen to this when I was a kid, and now people hear it, and they're like, I'm just waiting for you to say something else. I'm like, good, that means you're listening. So
Sounds
cool.
amazing.
But I'm thinking like Suck Factor High with a high fin chest seal on it for your another T-shirt. Boom.
Yeah. See?
2 T-shirts in 15 minutes. We're done.
Boom. Marketing, capitalism.
So, I mean, you're talking trauma kits. Jason and I both have a little bit of training in trauma. I've been to like a TCCC class. I know he's done some medical stuff as well. What's the difference between a Dark Angel dark kit that I'm looking at like in the $200 range for and going to Walmart and buying a first aid kit? What's the difference for the people who don't know?
Your timing is impeccable because if you follow us on Facebook, I literally put up a post today talking about what is it a trauma kit or is it a first aid kit? So, man, I don't know. Did you plan that or?
We do most of our stuff from the hip, so
yeah,
that was
everyone knows it's just pure luck. We don't plan.
That's pretty wild, man. But yeah, I literally put a post up today talking. I've been working on a little thing called is it a trauma kit or is it a first aid kit? Okay, and that's a big misconception. A lot of people literally have, they think they're okay, but they're basically got a really big first aid kit or a glorified first aid kit.
I was gonna say when they pull out their trauma kit and it's like 40 Band-Aids of different sizes.
Correct.
And a tampon.
Like,
yeah.
and some tweezers.
I've got some Band-Aids.
Oh, cool.
And some splinter forceps.
An
and
eye
some
patch.
alcohol swabs and an eye patch and some silk tape that's like yellow now because it used to be white. And I've got a bunch of Tylenol and ibuprofen that's probably 4 years out of date.
And a popsicle stick.
and stuff like that. And that's not to diminish that. That's not to diminish that at all because it has a place.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? It definitely has a place. But if you're using that for your quote unquote trauma kit, but that's the thing about it. People get confused about what trauma kit, what first aid kit is, and that's where we come in with the education piece and say, okay, here you go. Not to diminish you or not to degrade anything you have. Cool, but what you may have is a first aid kit. And we tell you, hey, first aid kit, burns, minor lacerations, sprains, strains, aches, boo-boo stuff.
Yep,
some burn gel, all that kind of jazz. Yeah, moleskin, chapstick, whatever. Trauma kits are for your no-crap, life-threatening, somebody's about to die if I don't do something real freaking fast.
Yeah.
And that's what a trauma kit is. That has the component to sustain life. Think of it like a patch kit for your mountain bike or your ATV.
Right.
That patch kit is just to keep the air in the tire until you can get to the shop.
Yeah.
That's basically what a trauma kit does. That's what our trauma kit is. It's a patch kit for people. So
I always relate that everything to like an engine, and I always tell people, I'm like, you run out of oil, you're gonna burn up a bearing, and then you're gonna lock the motor
absolutely.
up, and then you're gonna need a new car.
Yeah, and I relate it in the terms of we're a hydraulic machine. We got pump, tubing, and fluid. Our hearts are pump, our arteries and veins are our tubing, and our blood and our fluid. And if you can relate stuff to people, if it's easily relatable, easily digestible, then they're going to learn. They're going to, so that's what it is. And that's where people have the misconception of, hey, what's a trauma kit? What's a first aid kit? Oh, I've got a first aid kit. Or I've got a trauma kit. No, bro, you got a first aid kit.
Right.
And trauma kit is designed to sustain life. A first aid kit is designed to make life more comfortable.
And like you're saying, I mean, I carry both. I carry an adventure medical kit, boo-boo kit in my bag as well. And that makes my trip more enjoyable because I can bandage up my cut or I can take out my slivers.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily saving my life.
Right.
Exactly.
I've had to use my adventure medical kit a bunch.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I haven't had to use my trauma kit.
Yeah, I mean, you knock your elbow against a rock or a tree or something, it hurts. I want to cover it up so it's not rubbing on everything else. So, yeah, give me that large Band-Aid.
Yeah, or you're loosening some lug nuts or something like that, and you slip, you knock the hide off your knuckle,
right?
And you're just like, oh, crap, I've got like 2 more days I need to be out here. Clean it up, throw a freaking Band-Aid on it, and you're good to go. That's the first aid kit. That's first aid,
Yeah.
So we're talking about, like, at least in my opinion, the next level of first aid, the next level of care.
I like the hydraulic
Yeah.
relation. You
Yeah,
know,
it works.
I'll start asking people that. Was it a pressure line or a return line? It squirt across the room
Exactly.
or just kind of ooze out?
Exactly, and that's just it, man. You know, people, like, hey, if you got a high lift jack that drops the vehicle, on your leg and partially severs your leg, Band-Aid ain't gonna help that.
No.
You know, that's just like, here, I'm gonna throw some essential oils and hopes and prayers at you, and we'll see if something sticks. And chances are, it's slim to none that it's going to work, and slim's going to lunch. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's a bad situation, and the prepared people are the ones who are going to emerge in a much better place.
Yeah, it's crazy how what's it say? Luck favors the prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you have
Absolutely,
the stuff, like I carry a pocket dart. I've been carrying it for 4 or 5 years at least. I've got one of your bigger kits as well. I actually, one day I cleaned out my Jeep and I was going to work, and I had my pocket dart in my man purse, so it's always in there. And I witnessed a dude get smoked by a car. Hitting the car. It was in the upper hip area. He tumbles. He goes down. And thankfully, I ran for my big kit, right, which is on my couch. So I rip into my man purse. I find my pocket dart. I deploy it. It's got stuff in it. It's not overly stocked.
Yeah.
But I've got enough to start treating.
Correct.
And I'm on the phone with 911, and they're like, yeah, we know. We were already told about this. I'm like, are you sure? Because all she said was, he got hit by a car, get here. I'm telling you, he's got a compound fracture
The
of his
lady
upper
in the
leg,
car
and he's
said,
leaking.
I just hit a guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. My car's got a dented hood.
I'm like, can I get a cop? Can
Yeah.
I get an EMS guy?
Yeah,
Like,
went
I was
ass over apple cart.
right in front of the hospital.
Leg
I
goes
could
every way but straight.
I could see the hospital. And I was like, can I get like a security guard to come pick this dude up and bring him to the hospital?
They
Like,
frown on that. It's liability.
yeah, he didn't.
Just
He
hold
didn't.
the journey across the street, man.
He didn't make
liability.
it, unfortunately, but I don't think he had a fighting chance. But like, I had the stuff, and I felt a lot better than just like you said, looking at him. Like, well, that sucks. You
Not
know.
many people know that, like, helpless
and that's-
feeling.
And
Yeah.
that's the worst. That's the worst feeling, is something happening. And if you've got the training, you got the equipment, and you got the right mindset, that's the most important thing, to have the right mindset to deploy that stuff.
Right.
And if you've got the right mindset, and you're like, okay, I have literally done everything within my power, everything that's in the capability of this kit, and they still succumb to their injuries, you're going to have to understand, hey, things happen beyond your control, and you're not going to be able to save everybody. And that's a crappy fact, but that's still a fact.
Yeah, at some point, it's between him and whoever he prays to. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly. And that should, and my thing is, I tell people all the time, my students, I'm like, look, if anything, this should give you some closure.
Mm-hmm.
This should give you some closure and help you be able to build things better. But yeah, man, just having the training, having the equipment are two big components, but having the right mindset, that's probably the most important component of all, because, if you're standing there, spinning around in circles, you're not doing anybody any good at all.
Right.
Right.
You look busy, which is critical sometimes, but
Yeah, exactly.
Crowd pleaser.
yeah.
Mhm.
So we've kind of drew the line, right,
Yeah.
between the needs of both. They're both pretty important, I think, in what we do.
Yeah.
Because I've been hurt minorly, thank God, a lot less than I've been needing a trauma kit.
Right.
So you need both, but you also need to understand the difference in both. And I think you did a pretty good job explaining that. Like, one's to the air goes in and out, and the blood goes round and around. Any deviation from that is a bad thing.
Yeah, and I think one also touches on that some training is required for that next step up.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
bare minimum.
Yeah.
I wonder where they could find some training at.
Yeah. Where could they
Man, I
find
don't
training?
know.
Do you know anyone?
Yeah, maybe. I know a couple of guys. They can actually absolutely come take our training classes. We offer 2-day training sessions, and it's literally like drinking from a fire hose. And I'm gonna throw a plug out for a really good buddy of mine, Caleb Causey. He owns a company called Lone Star Medics down in Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and he is like a brother. He's not. Man, people are like, oh man, he's one of your competitors. No, he's not. He's a friend. He's a mentor. He's a peer. And so I always pimp him out too, because there's very few people that I trust that I would recommend
Okay.
for other people to go to if they could come to one of our classes, but 100% go to take one of his classes. But if you can't come to any classes, we do have some online training videos as well.
Yeah, I think that's nice. Yeah.
training, Yeah, and the online training actually was credited with one of our recent saves,
Really?
which
Oh, wow.
was an off-road vehicle accident in California.
Man, that
Okay.
almost segued perfectly into that.
Yeah. Look at how that
Yeah.
worked out.
It's almost like I planned it like that. But it's the guy wrote me on our Instagram page and said, "Hey, I just wanted to thank you guys because you're the reason my best friend is alive." And
Wow. Yeah.
he said we were in an off-road vehicle accident. His arm got trapped underneath the vehicle. Had compound fracture, bone sticking through. Severed his arteries. He'd had severe arterial bleed. He sent me pictures of it, and it was legit. It was very, very, very scary. But he said, thankfully, I had one of your kits, and I was able to get it and tourniquet his arm off and then apply pressure bandage, just like you had talked about in some of the videos. He said, and that's the thing that what helped me was I had familiarization with the kit. Even though I had not gone through one of your classes, I had still watched your online training videos, had familiarization enough and trained with my practice components enough to understand the mechanics behind it. And so I was able to act quickly and decisively and effectively in this situation. He said, and the paramedics, they were way out, man. They were on some big gnarly trail out in California. They were way out. The paramedics said, you literally saved your buddy's life, and he's doing fine. Kept his arm. Had some serious orthopedic hardware put in there, but the guy had the kit, he had the training, and he had the right mindset.
Yeah, that's awesome. You
Yep.
have a good ending, and I mean, you might get a little hassled by TSA, but other than that, that's
Yeah.
a good
Yeah.
ending,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
But that's awesome that you offer the online. I mean, nothing's definitely better. Obviously, hands-on is the best training, but I mean, to offer online like that, and like I said, at least have the kind of idea of how everything works, and
I think that's crucial because I know guys will buy the kit and throw it in their truck and think they're prepared.
never look at it, think about it,
You know,
talk about it again, and yeah, nothing is worse than when you're looking at it like I don't know how to.
Yeah, I have no idea. I tell people, the time to learn how to use your kit's not when you got to crack the seal on it. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
you better have some
Yeah,
familiarization. It's like I teach people when I teach, handgun classes or rifle classes, whatever. The worst thing in the world is, okay, I get this gun, I'm prepared, I'm ready.
Right.
Not really, because you have to train with it, and you're more of a liability than you are an asset.
right.
At that stage.
And that translates everywhere. I mean, that works everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Absolutely.
it kind of goes to everything, right? Like you can go to Harbor Freight and buy the mechanic tool set. That doesn't make you a mechanic.
Right.
There's still some training and knowledge required to it.
Yeah.
That's exactly the analogy I use in class when I'm talking about the medical kit. I'm like, I can give you a toolbox and say, go fix that Harley. Just because I give you a toolbox doesn't mean you're a motorcycle mechanic any more than it means that just because I sat in an airplane a lot of times, I'm a pilot.
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta have the training. You got to know what to do with it.
Yeah,
So,
I'm 38 years old. I still don't understand the physics of an airplane. I'm not trying to claim I'm a pilot.
I'm gonna tell you what. I understand airplanes better than helicopters because all I know is whenever we used to fly patients in helicopters, I remember one of the pilots said, "Yeah, this thing's trying to kill us from the very moment we lift off." I'm like, "Oh, awesome."
I've heard that pilots
Exactly.
before. Like, have you ever tried to like balance plates while standing on a basketball? I'm like, what? I'm like, I was looking. I'm like, it ain't that hard because you ain't that smart. Well, I'll take your word for it. I'll take
Yeah,
you all the
that's
way
not
to
what
the
I wanna
scene
hear,
of the
dude.
crash. I'll guarantee you that.
Yeah, you're not exactly instilling confidence in me right now. So,
Because you ain't that bright.
yeah.
Thank you for that.
Plus, I know in the military, everything's made by the lowest bidder. That's what they told us in jump school. Gentlemen, your parachutes are made by the lowest bidder. Awesome.
Good to know.
It feels great.
But I'll tell you what, our kits are not made by the lowest bidder. And that's the big thing, too, is, people think, oh, they get these quote-unquote trauma kits, and they're dismal. And the thing is, they got a lot of stuff in them. Okay, that's awesome, but there's a lot of useless crap and a lot of fluff and a lot of filler.
Mm-hmm.
And or do you have something that's purpose designed, purpose driven, and that's been used by people that I know have been in some of the worst environments in the world, and it has worked well for them. That's where the metal meets the road right there, or the rubber meets the road.
Right.
Yeah, hopefully it's not the metal meeting the road because that would need a trauma kit.
Hopefully on the metal. That's a lot of friction.
We're going to need to put a Band-Aid on that.
Yeah, you're gonna need some serious ointment for that. But that's where I tell folks is like, look, man, don't get sucked into the hole of more is better, because more is definitely not better. Because chaotic situations, as we all know, creates a lot of confusion, and confusion can create a lot of hesitation.
Yep.
And in situations like this, you don't have a whole lot of time to be hesitant. You're going to have to take charge.
Right.
You know, you're going to have to, because you could be the difference between life or death. So you're going to have to know what you're doing and how to do it real quick.
Yeah, that's definitely not the time you want the low bid product
Right.
that you
Exactly.
bought off somewhere not really accredited, and the package is
Right.
horrible.
Or
And
it's
like
got
you
really
said,
flashy-
it was white once. Now it's kind of a creamy yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's
Yeah.
got some really flashy marketing and really cool pictures. Man, look at all the stuff I've got here.
Right.
That's going to turn into a tactical yard sale whenever crap goes
Yeah.
sideways.
When you open up the kit,
You know?
it just confetti's all over.
Yeah. And you're like, I know it's in here somewhere,
Right.
you know, and then you're left with something that's substandard, and that's what we tell people. And we put enough faith in it that if you use one of our kits to save somebody's life, I'm doing a shameless plug here, man, because if you use a kit to save somebody's life, then you send back, you let us know that you saved their life. You send back what you haven't used, obviously, because that's gross, and we will inspect it, make sure it's serviceable. We'll take the stuff, we'll repack it with all that plus the stuff that you used, and we will repack it, reseal it, and ship it back to you free of charge. That's called our Kit for Life guarantee. And
that's
so,
pretty badass.
Yeah.
you know, you buy once, cry once, man.
Oh,
So
Well, that's where it's
That-
at. Like,
that-
I mean, I've seen guys with Cat 7 lookalikes, you know, instead of actually
yeah.
having a Cat 7, and the windlass will snap off in
you
training.
spell that CET,
Bingo.
right?
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
So buy one, cry
Yeah.
once is huge. I mean, we do the same
Yeah.
thing in our world. Like, if you're trying to build a Jeep, if I'm going to go on a once-in-a-lifetime trip to come visit you in Colorado and wheel the passes,
Yeah.
I'm not bringing a beater. I'm going to have a nice truck to come in. You know, it's once
You
in a
want to put the
lifetime.
money into
Yeah.
it, man.
Yeah,
You want
absolutely.
you
That's a
want to
solid
put the money
investment
into
right
it because you get the best return on your investment like that.
Yeah.
Because you know the forethought, the engineering, the planning, and everything has been put into that product. You know, I mean, whatever lift kits you get, whatever winch you get, whatever body protection, whatever kind of harnesses you get, whatever kind of lights you get. You know, that's like going and getting some knockoff rigids or something like that from somebody. Oh, these are just as good as rigids. These look like rigids.
They came in the
But-
smiley box. They're good.
Yeah, exactly. But they're not. You know, and
Right.
you go into one rainstorm, one bad episode of bad weather, and then you're looking down, you got
Yeah.
like an inch and a half of water floating around in your light.
Yeah, we've talked about
So-
this before. You know, it'll work going down the street, and it'll work kind of like here and there, and then it's going to be in the dark woods when you're on that angle that's going to roll you, and that's when they're going to flugger and go out.
Yep.
Like,
Exactly. You know, broke watches right twice a day. You know, and that's what I look at, and that's the whole just as good thing. You know, well, you know, my belt's just as good as a cat tourniquet or a softy wide. No, it's not, dude. A belt's designed to hold your britches up over your butt. You know, and it's not designed to be a tourniquet.
Right.
So you got to get the purpose design stuff, and you got to spend the money on it. And thankfully, we have coupon codes, and you got the Kit for Life guarantee and free training online. So, and we even got a 4-pay plan. You know, if somebody
wow.
wants to buy something like, man, that's a lot of money. Well, dude, guess what? You can pay for it over 2 months. That's 4 pay period.
There you go.
right.
You
So
know,
you're
So-
doing everything you
Yeah.
can to put these in the hands of people who want to use them.
Exactly. What I've tried to do, man, I've tried to eliminate excuses because at the end of the day, that's all it is.
Yep.
If you're not carrying some sort of med and you're not training on some sort of med, then it's literally an excuse because there's absolutely no reason for you not to carry it, especially like, you know, you guys go way out in the boonies. Your community goes way out in the sticks. And how far are you away from definitive care? How far away are you from a life flight? You know, how do you even have some sort of 911 communication plan? VHF radio, spot satellite messenger, Garmin InReach, freaking Iridium sat phone. You know, can you even get satellite reception? You know, depending on where you are. Just because it's floating around in the atmosphere doesn't mean that you're going to be able to get it. So you got to have a plan, man, because that's that whole preparation thing. Because like I said, Murphy is a cruel son of a bitch, and he will screw you up.
Yeah, well, I definitely think with the popularity of overlanding and things like that, and a lot more people going into the woods,
Well,
it's just increasing the injury
Let's
potential.
just look at
Yeah.
the great year we've had. in 2020.
It's gone so well so far. What could possibly go wrong?
Either you're locked down from pandemic, right?
Right.
And those people that are locked down from pandemics, they're starting to explore. At least in Michigan, I'm not sure how locked down Colorado is, but we're getting a lot more people with zero life experience going into the woods to explore.
I'll be honest. I've seen more rooftop tents on vehicles than I ever have. I'm like,
Dude, same.
what is going on?
Right. 3 of our states are on
same.
fire.
Yeah.
So you've got serious
Yeah,
burn
exactly.
risk.
Yeah.
You've got hurricanes coming in from the south, knocking stuff over. There's all kind of penetrating injury potential down there if stuff knocks over. Like, it's almost irresponsible at this point to not have a kit. I mean, he's saying that it's a $200 kit. I can pay for it $50 a week or $50 every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's, who wastes that on cigarettes and Mountain Dew every week?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna say, man, some people piss more money away that on beer and tobacco on a weekend. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
that's a bar tab.
Yeah.
That's a nice meal. A good meal out for a date night or something like that. So, what's going to benefit you in the long run? I mean, obviously the date night keep things going good in your relationship. Don't stop going on date night. Sorry, honey.
You're going to need that. You might need that tourniquet.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to McDonald's tonight. But it's one of those things where you things happen. And I've seen, like you said, the whole rooftop tent thing out here in Colorado, man. I have seen so many in the last few months, more so than I've ever seen before. And it's not a matter. It's a law of averages.
Right.
Now you're playing with law of averages. It's not a matter of if. It's just a matter of when.
Right. That's what I mean.
Somebody's
Like
gonna
the
get
past
hurt.
week, like I said, it was like 3 giant rollover crashes, and I'm like, what's going on? And I kind of followed those pages out there, like the I think it's like Colorado Mountain Rescue or something. I forget. I could be quoting it wrong, but I'm like, they're constantly getting someone. But yeah, I swear it's like the past week, and there have been some significant crashes.
Right.
I think the one person was like ejected, and
Yeah, passenger was ejected in that rollover.
there's some stuff that
goodness.
goes down quick.
That one's actually on
that
GoPro.
never
Right, and
that
that's
never ends well.
gnarly, and I mean, obviously, where we're at in Michigan, we don't necessarily have mountains to roll down, but I think people downplay how strong a tree is.
Yeah.
It's just a 2-track. Yeah, until you don't see that branch sticking out that goes through the windshield and goes through your shoulder. So.
Or what about recovery? What about recovery process?
Right,
People don't know what
absolutely.
they're doing. Recovery process, man. Steel cables off winches, the recovery straps, things like that. Man, we were just, things bad things. You're talking a lot of tension, a lot of weight, and then there's a thing called physics. and
It gets you.
science.
It gets you every time.
And it's unforgiving as crap, man. And
Nature
that's just
versus
people-
nurture. Nature wins every time.
Yeah, nature's gonna win every time, and that's what people don't think about. And there are some horrific injuries. People don't know how to use that high lift jack, or they don't know how to use their recovery equipment. Things are gonna go south really, really fast.
And I've done some sketchy stuff in my life. That high lift jack is one of the scariest things you can work with.
Yeah, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's so awesome in the most dangerous way.
Yeah,
Especially when that handle goes AWOL and just starts going down on its own.
Yeah, I mean it works. When it works great. But if it fails fabulously. You know, and then you got to worry about everything else failing around it, or your body failing as a result of it. And so that's why I'm passionate about getting it out there, because it's not just for shooters, it's not for military or law enforcement or first responders, whatever. It's for everybody, man. And especially if you're in a environment where you can lose limbs, or be in high energy, kinetic energy impacts, then you need this stuff. Construction. Dude, I have construction people buying our kit quite a bit because, hey, man, stuff happens.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, the construction, but obviously, like I said, we're an off-road garage podcast. Like in the garage, that is a great kit to have in your toolbox, because especially these new tools coming out, these lithium-ion battery, I think my impact gun is like ridiculous foot-pounds of torque.
Right.
I mean, sockets explode, things happen, the cutoff wheel comes off and goes through your arm. That's not the time to be trying to control the bleeding with your greasy shop rag while you're trying to
electrical tape in the shop rag.
Trying to get the attention of the missus in the house, maybe, or even if you're at work trying to get your coworker.
Well, what if you're there working on your stuff by yourself? Can you
Which I mostly am.
render aid to yourself? Can you self aid? efficiently.
Totally,
you know,
totally tell you about the
and
tree
stay
story I had
conscious.
over the weekend.
Yeah, that's one of the most important things, like you said, is knowing how to use it. I do a lot of stuff. I know you don't know this, but I do a lot of stuff solo. So I'll go up into the Keweenaw Peninsula, the very northern part of Michigan, for
Oof.
a week long by myself in the woods
Oh, it's scary.
trip.
Believe me, I'm almost nervous
Yeah.
myself.
And like you said, I don't get satellite reception. I don't have GPS. My spot works sometimes. You know, you'll have bars sometimes. So I need to be able to figure out how to either apply a tourniquet, stop the flow of blood, and then find a way to extricate myself to a point where somebody can find me.
Sounds like you're gonna lay there until you get better.
Right.
Yeah,
Or,
exactly.
or a bear helps me.
Yeah, I'm just gonna,
I've
or a
watched-
wolf. You know.
I've watched enough
I'm just
Disney.
gonna-
If I'm nice, a bear will help me.
Right.
Exactly.
If I befriend a bear, that'll work out. That's
Right.
a
And
good
this is
plan.
so,
Yeah.
I mean, this is where it starts to change over for me. Is like from the area of the two-way range that your thing was birthed on was a two-way range, basically. Now we're
Right.
talking about everyday life. You know, I could be at my house cutting grass and hurt myself bad enough.
Well, I
I
was gonna
live where
say-
there's a paid-on-call response fire team, and they're good guys, but they might have an 8-minute response.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What-
To
exactly.
gather up the stuff. But I was just gonna say over the weekend, because we were talking about doing solo stuff. But once again, you know how it is. You're at home. You just kind of like get in the mode and
I'm gonna
start
do
doing
this.
things.
Yeah.
At least I do. Because my wife tells me all the time, she's like, "Don't you have friends to help you?"
Yep.
I'm like, I don't. I could call along and wait for him to come, or I could just do it.
I
I
got
cut
you.
down this
I got
giant
you.
pine tree by myself, and she's like, "I heard it fall." And then I waited to hear if I heard the chainsaw again, which I did, so I knew you were okay. I'm like, the amount of time
Yeah.
that you must have waited, because, like, so it's like that kind of thing. You know,
Right.
it could easily
And that
go bad.
Yeah, and that brings in a whole big point. Another point I make in class. I'm like, man, if you've got family members and they don't know how to use this stuff, teach them. They're force multipliers.
Right.
You know, my youngest daughter is 15 now, and when she was 8 years old, she went through this class the first time.
Okay.
She's gone through the class 4 times. The last time she went, she actually volunteered for it because previously she'd been voluntold. You know,
Okay.
and so.
Right.
Yeah, but she's been knowing how to put a tourniquet on because chances are it could be my dumb butt that falls off the roof, impales myself on something or whatever,
Absolutely.
you know. So that's a force multiplier. So teach your people, your loved ones, your friends, if they don't know how to use it, teach them, show them,
Right.
because they may end up in it. It doesn't take a lot. It
Right.
doesn't take a lot, you know.
And not the time to
And-
teach that is when I'm losing hydraulics and the world is closing in on me.
When you're losing hydraulic
Exactly.
pressure and your pump's starting to burn
Yeah,
up.
and then my little vision's getting
Exactly.
smaller.
Right.
That's the bad time to teach somebody.
You
Hey,
need-
babe,
you
take
need-
this out.
That needs to be. Hey.
Yeah, you know, take the freaking shrink wrap off your tourniquets and learn and buy you a practice tourniquet and learn how to use those tourniquets. I mean, something just as simple as that
Yep.
can be a game changer.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like, if you're not available, is there anybody that you would recommend they look at? Because you're on Instagram. You said your buddy from Lone Star Medics is on Instagram. Is there anybody like on the eastern side, the Middle West, that you would recommend, or would you come out here and teach?
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. I mean, I don't know a whole lot of folks that do what we do. There's a lot more folks that do it now than we used to. Because I
Right.
think me and Caleb are kind of like, I hate to use a word, but we're kind of like pioneers.
Okay.
Because we've been telling people this and seeing the need for it for years and years and years. But yeah, we do training all over the United States. So people are like, hey, dude, we want you to come teach a class out in, Maine or, Vermont or wherever on the Eastern Coast. Then absolutely. We just need 12 folks and some place to teach it and a host. The host will get a free spot and a free kit and, and it's a win-win. So
Yeah.
people get
We'll put something
knowledge.
together for that.
Yeah. Maybe 12 people might not be a bad thing. We might be able to
Yeah.
do 12 and
We can get with
do it right
Michigan
here.
Overland.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as we get 12 and max of 24, because that just makes it easier during hands-on stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we teach it from a 50,000-foot view down to doing rapid trauma assessment and treating life-threatening injuries the next day.
Perfect.
So you don't have to have
yeah.
any kind of medical knowledge, nothing to come to the class. You can be a clean slate, and we'll teach you just like we will anybody else.
And that's rad.
real
Because I think we could do
cool.
we could probably set something up with Michigan Overland and have enough people to come to a class and actually have this
Yeah.
put in the real world. I mean, because the more people that have it, like he said, it's a force multiplier.
Mm-hmm.
If our friends don't know how to use the equipment that we bring,
Yeah.
there's no point in having it.
Yeah. Between Michigan, we could like
Exactly.
New Holland involved or something
Right.
like that, and
It's just like if you're stuck in a mud hole and your buddy doesn't know how to use your winch, doesn't know how to use your winch.
right.
You know, get out and get muddy to figure it out. Like that's the time.
Yeah. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, it
I
might
like
be
that
kind of
idea.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be happy to,
Dude, that'd be awesome.
for sure.
What else you got?
I mean, one of my favorite things.
Okay.
They love dogs. They make a dog trauma kit too.
What?
Yeah.
So I don't have to just
Yeah,
hit
man.
him in the head with a stick?
Right.
Say goodbye?
Old yellow your pup. So I mean, you figure, we're out on these trails. Your dog's running around being an idiot, running through the woods. If they get poked with something, impaled, they make a
'Cause they
kit
do,
for
'cause
your
they're
dog.
Generally dumb.
Yeah.
That's pretty slick.
And he makes like a little harness so the dog can carry it himself. So I like most dogs better than most people. So like,
Yeah.
Dude, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I've got a 110-pound German Shepherd, and he's people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
people.
He'll always love you. That's the best part.
So this might be kind of a wrong question or a weird question. Is there anything that you recommend kit wise that you offer for what we're talking about? Because I mean, the Pocket Dark for me is like an EDC kit. I keep it in my bag. And then you have your larger dark kits. Is there something you'd say, okay, you're going to put it in your Jeep?
Good for a Jeep. Good for a garage.
Yeah.
Good for.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you asked that. I mean, because in a garage, a regular dart kit would be fine, or you could throw one of our hard cases in the garage. It's a high impact plastic case. It's waterproof and airtight, and it floats. And it was made. It's made by Royal Case Company out of Dallas, Texas. It's got first aid stuff, so you got your boo boo stuff on the bottom, and there's the foam layer in there, and then on top of it, we've got a trauma module that's basically like one of our trauma kits.
Dude,
And so it's got tourniquets and hemostatic and pressure bandages and stuff like that. So red is easy to see, right? And so it's easy to move around. So that can go in a shop, that can go in a vehicle, or if you're in a vehicle and you want a dedicated vehicle kit, we've got the visor kit that is, aptly named. It fits on the visor. And it's basically like one of our dart kits that's kind of been schnitzeled down. So we took out the 4-inch Izzy and we put in a smaller, flatter compression bandage so it fits more flat in there. Or we have headrest mounted kits. So we've got headrest mounted options, we've got visor mounted options, we've got the hard case, the high impact plastic case. So very rugged, very durable. So man, we got
you got it all planned out. Like, I don't even have to think about where I have to mount it or put it or
that's
keep it. It's like, dude, that's awesome.
That's just it.
Well,
we tried to eliminate all the excuses.
And like he's saying,
Genius.
how many people thinking about like overlanding, thinking about how people pack their vehicles?
Yeah,
I've got a dart kit, man. It's really cool. I got the multicam
hold on.
one.
It's under
under my tire.
On
It's
this bag. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, no,
Exactly.
I put it over. No,
Exactly.
maybe it's under the seat.
So now you've lost excuses. It's attached to
mean,
my headrest.
When you're laying on the ground with the branch through your chest,
Yeah.
it's not the time you're trying to give directions on where to find the kit in your Jeep.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
And it's got red pull handle. So obviously red again signifies medical. So you got red pull handle. So you got 2 headrests. You can put 2 kits on there. You can put 2 tourniquets per kit. It comes with 1 standard, but you can put an extra tourniquet in there. We made loops on there so it can hold extra tourniquets. Same thing with the visor kit. And so that's the thing about it. The visor, and right now even the visor kits, we're kind of overstocked on them, so we knocked about $20 off the regular price. Plus, you can get another 20% off of those.
Oh, hell yeah.
So
What's
that's
the code for that?
win-win. Code is FALL20, FALL20.
So $20 off plus 20% off that. You're getting a hell of a deal on a kit that might save a life. Plus,
and if you want to get the hard case, you can save 15% by using HARD15, HARD15.
Okay. Plus, let's be real. A whole bunch of overlanding is about looking cool. And what looks cooler than having a bunch of tourniquets hanging off my visor?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
You're totally like tactical.
I look
and I'm
ready.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, but our kits are sexy as hell. So,
From a totally unbiased standpoint.
Hell yes.
totally unbiased standpoint, but they're pretty sexy.
You flip that visor
you know
down,
what?
like, oh, what do you got up there? Oh, that's right.
That's right.
Got my
And, and because bleeding out ain't sexy either. So there you go.
Dude, another shirt.
Oh, dude, it's so
That
good.
was actually a shirt. Yeah, we made stickers and shirts on that a while back. So yeah.
Did you guys?
Bleeding out
Was it
ain't
you
sexy.
guys that had you can't tourniquet the taint? Was that your shirt?
No, man. No, I've seen that one. That's comedy gold right there. But again,
no.
you can pack the tank, but you can't tourniquet it.
That's true.
So you can pack it, you can't tourniquet that.
So gross.
Yeah, look at that. The visor's knocked down. It looks rad. It's look at that. It's like earth tone gray or sewer gray.
Yeah, we got
Yes,
we got
gotta do this.
gray,
You
we
gotta
got
do this.
black, we got
See if the
tan.
camera can see
So
it. Oh, they
you know,
can't see
whatever
it.
your vehicle interior color is,
tried.
you know.
No, that's rad. I like that.
Yeah, for sure. And
Thanks,
it
man.
looks well thought out. Like you said, TQ's right on the outside, so I can deploy it. I've got shears for cutting seatbelts or whatever.
Yeah. No,
I do have
I
a,
agree. You totally took the excuses out of it. I love it.
I do have
That's
a question
fantastic.
that is sort of
Yeah.
I don't want to be insulting, but do dudes actually rock the ankle kits with any success?
Say it one more time.
So like you have the ankle kit, and I've seen a couple other companies make them. Is that comfortable? Is that an efficient way to carry it? Because I've tried carrying a revolver on my ankle. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I don't like carrying an ankle gun either. But
Okay.
my ankle kit, because we make an ankle kit.
I'm looking at it right now.
And-
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing about our ankle kit, and there are some comfortable ankle kits out there. I know Riker Nylon has a great ankle kit. Warrior Poet Society, John Lovell, those guys have great ankle kits. I like our ankle kit. Our ankle kits are different than a lot of the other ones because instead of being like a Cordura type nylon, I made ours out of nylon webbing, an elastic nylon webbing. So it conforms better. It's lightweight. It's breathable, and that's what I like about ours is it actually will conform to a large variety of ankles versus some kits out there. You're pretty much kind of since it's just straight up 500D nylon or whatever, you're stuck. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
So it's a 4-inch
And
diameter
so-
circle. It's a 4-inch diameter circle. That's it.
Correct. Yeah. And so we have our kit has it's like an open top mag pouch type design with a little pull bungees on there that are red pull tabs, and then you've got enough room for a tourniquet. In mine, I'm wearing all of them. We have tourniquets, we have a pair of chest seals, a pair of gloves, a 12-foot roll of hemostatic gauze, and a pressure bandage.
So back to the original, like you can hang it from your visor, you can wear it on your ankle. There's no excuse not to have a kit.
Dude,
Accessible.
It's super comfy, but it will not work with skinny jeans. Just saying.
Oh man.
So I've had folks say it didn't work with my tapered pants, and I'm like, well, dude, I mean, it's not going to work with tapered pants unless you wear it on the outside, and then you kind of defeat the whole purpose.
Right.
But
It's like a bat belt on my ankle.
Yeah, exactly. But it's super lightweight, super comfy, and I've been wearing the number 2 prototype for over right at 3 years now.
Okay.
And so I'm still rocking the same one. That
Which says a lot. I mean, because nylon and Velcro
Yeah.
typically don't last.
yeah, I mean it's definitely, you can tell it's definitely well loved, but it's still, you know, it smells like a freaking, you know, athletic supporter. It smells like a cup, but it's you know, not that I've sniffed that many cups in my day.
I was
But,
going to ask,
it-
but
it-
you know,
It doesn't. It smells like a gym sock, man. It's gnarly,
family show.
but it's one of those. It's one of those things that if you don't have it, then you're gonna wish you did whenever something bad happens.
Right.
And that's the best advice I can give to people is, you know, carry something and know how to use it. I don't care if it's my kit, if it's somebody else's kit, if it's a kit you roll your own. Just make sure you put good components in it, because if you bargain basement shop your gear, then you're setting your own self up for failure.
And there's a place to wheel and deal and haggle, and I don't think that med stuff is one of those places, personally.
No.
Med is definitely not it. You know, you want good med kit, you want good tires, you
Right.
want good shocks, you want good the best of everything, because your life depends on it.
Right. No.
And like,
And so you want to have good equipment.
I think the hardest part for some people to get by, these guys I've talked to,
Mhm.
is I'm about to drop, say, $200 on a standard dart kit. That's a decent amount of money, and hopefully I'll never get to use it. So, like, you know, it's kind of a weird, like, I'm buying insurance that I don't want to ever have to use.
Yeah.
And some dudes can't.
Issues with that, but
They can't get by that way. They'd rather drop that $200 on a light bar from Amazon.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
show it off.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard for people to wrap their heads around that. But you're right, man. It's cheap life insurance. You know, and if you're using a 20% off code, well, it drops it down to $160,
Right.
and you can do that $160 over 4 pay periods. That's $40 every 2 weeks.
Right.
That's nothing, man.
Yeah.
You know, in the grand scheme of things, what's your life worth?
Right.
You know.
Are you
So-
saying your life's not worth 4 logs of Copenhagen or whatever the heck that comes down to? You know, I mean,
right.
Yeah, man. Hey, exactly. I mean, I like me a chew of Copenhagen every now and then, but you know, the thing is, I'm not gonna sit there and prioritize. Well, you know, log of Copenhagen, meg kit. You know, so
Well, is there
that's
anything that you
perfect.
think we're missing that's crucial? Like at this point, we're into
Yeah,
that
save it
45-minute, that magic number. Other than where to find you, I think we've covered about everything we need to cover.
Yeah, man, I think we're pretty solid on stuff. And if people have any questions, they can shoot us an email to the info at Dark Angel Medical page. They can do a chat submission on the page because we have chat that's live like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Monday through Friday. They can go to darkangelmedical.com, and that's our website. And we have Facebook page, we have an Instagram page, we have a Twitter page. So we're trying to be accessible, trying to put good content out. And again, I love what I do. I love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do, and to me, it's all about making a difference in people's lives, and spreading the gospel of med, because everybody needs it. If you are walking around this planet and you're exchanging gases involuntarily, you need medical.
Right.
I don't care what your job is, what you do, where you come from, what you do for a living. You need medical, because one of these days something's going to happen. You're going to need it, and by that time, people don't ever want to med until it's too late.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think getting letters like you get, like, you saved my best friend's life. I'm not sure how you can't like your job at that, or love your job at that point. Like, once you get that letter, game changer.
That's all. Yeah,
that's the thing that keeps me going, man. Every day is knowing that we're packing. We could literally be packing somebody's life into a box.
Where are you at on confirmed?
123.
Very good. Very cool.
Dang, that's impressive.
And that's just stuff you know about. That's not counting the local PDs that use it.
Not everyone reports that stuff.
Yeah,
exactly. And the last one was LA police officer with an ankle kit.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So, use a tourniquet and the hemostatic gauze and a pressure bandage. So pretty impressive.
123 known. I mean, I'm willing to bet there's a handful more than that floating around out there.
Yeah, because I bet there's a lot of people, right, like after so long or whatever, didn't know whose kid it was, or, was handed something. Or, right.
Yeah, or even didn't think.
Like that bystander's like, oh, here, use this. Okay, cool. And they went to the hospital, and he never heard the end of that story, Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly, man. And that's just it, man. And I love getting those stories, because it just, like I said, that keeps me moving. And like my daddy used to say, he was a Southern Baptist preacher, and he'd say, if that don't light your fire, your wood's wet. You know what I mean? That's the God's honest truth. I love what I do. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I think all of us have a calling in life, and I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing, man, because I love taking care of people. I've been taking care of people for 29 years, but I think I have had a more of a direct impact on taking care of people doing this than anything I've ever done. And I'm blessed to have two other guys working with me who teach, Ross Francis and Mike Rowan, that are their brothers, they're friends, and they are just as passionate and knowledgeable about this stuff as I am. So I'm very, very fortunate to have those guys work with me to get the word out.
So I'm really hoping that all four of our listeners go on to darkangelmedical.com, find a kit they like, throw that 20% fall 20 coupon on there.
Absolutely.
Maybe get one for their pup.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you can forepay it.
Yeah.
And then if we get enough interest, we'll do a poll on Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah.
Maybe get them to come out to Michigan, show them around the mitten, and get a Dark Angel class in Michigan.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. We could maybe do something at the New Off-Road Park, maybe?
Yeah, New Off-Road Park, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We could do something.
Yeah.
Get them out here. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, we'll be happy to go anywhere, and teach as many folks as we can. That's our goal.
That's amazing. That is awesome. And this has been awesome. It's been a great show. I love it. I think are we good? I think it's a wrap.
I think we're good. Or we'll talk about.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. And
thanks, Jake. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Jake.
Yeah. And I guess we're out.
Hit the button.
So loud.